Sex-based segregation is how competitive sport has recognized the performance advantages that male athletes have over females in many disciplines. But what if the pursuit of fairness and safety comes at the cost of inclusion? Sports now find themselves in the middle of a heated debate over their policies towards trans women competitors in the female categories of events. You either have fairness by exclusion of trans women, or you must accept a degree of unfairness through the inclusion of trans women.
So what physical advantages do you think that men have over women?
Definitely, body structure, body type, strength, height, weight, other capabilities of, grip strength. There's studies on grip strength that shows that, men have twice the amount of grip strength that females do. So that can there's a lot of factors as far as pure strength goes, and then that doesn't take away that females aren't strong, but they are. But men theoretically have more strength per their body weight. So I think that, not only that, mental capacities, things like that, some other things.
One of many female athletes that's experienced the effects of this integration is 18-year-old Peyton McNabb. She's currently a senior in high school, but has lost the ability to compete in sports due to an incident that occurred during her junior year volleyball season. On September 1st of 2022, during a volleyball game against North Carolina High School, 17-year-old McNabb received a devastating head and neck injury as the result of a spike by a male athlete on the opposing team who identified as transgender. Here's a clip of the incident.
All right, pause. Let's rewatch that.
In the following podcast called She Thinks Podcast, Beverly Hallberg, president of Independent Women's Forum, interviews Peyton McNabb, who answers questions about the injuries sustained following the game and how it affected her years later.
So my head was severely swollen. I actually had to get my glasses retightened later on because it had stretched my glasses frames like so far. And I had a small brain bleed and then a concussion that came along with it that just made me suffer from a bunch of things that I'm still trying to get through today. I have cognitive issues, vision problems.
The following clip displays Riley Gaines, a former collegiate swimmer from the University of Kentucky, explaining her feedback from an NCAA official of a swim meet where she competes with Leah Thomas, a trans athlete.
Looks at both of us and says, "Great job, you two. But you tied, and we only have one trophy, so we're going to give the trophy to Leah. Sorry, Riley, you don't get one." And so the first thing that I thought ended up being the first thing that I said. And the first thought that I had was just what you had just said, right? Like, isn't this everything that Title IX was passed to prevent from happening? What do you mean you're going to give the trophy to the man in the women's 200 freestyle? I asked the question that no one dared ask all season. And I said, why? Which, of course, he didn't have an answer as to why. They didn't give him a script of what to say when someone asks you the dreaded question of why.
We, as an audience, are left hearing Riley tell us her reaction as to why the NCAA is trying their best to focus more on trans athlete Leah Thomas, more so Riley Gaines. Although they both tied down to the milliseconds, it is apparent that more light is shown and cared to trans athletes more than female athletes.
Remember the controversy a couple of years ago about men who identify as women using female restrooms and changing rooms? Well, the problem continues and worsens as men identifying as females are permitted to participate in women's sports to accommodate their identity change. There will be a cost regardless of whether or not trans women should be accepted into female sports. If they continue to be prohibited from participating in female sports, then these trans women are forced to either play with men as an identified woman, or they choose to not participate at all. On the other hand, if trans women are readmitted into sports of female categories, they put biological women at a serious disadvantage as well as an increased risk of experiencing a serious life-altering injury. Instead, a solution that presents minimal consequences would be the formation of a league designated for trans women. Not only does it prevent them from competing in men's sports, it also takes away the risks that many biological females face when competing against trans women. It's time to make a change and protect all women's rights that we spent all of history to obtain.